welcome to my first ever recording in my new dorm room in the University of Sydney. Unfortunately, I did not video like the moving process and everything, so you don't get to see how my dorm was set up and you don't get to see how my dorm looks like, which is probably for the better since it doesn't really look that great or neat, so you know, you can, I'll leave it to your imagination. So today, instead of all those, like typical set up your dorm room things and stuff like that, we're going to go through a module that the university expects us to complete by the 31st of March, and it's called a Consent Matters module, which is why this video is accurately titled Let's Learn About Consent. So yeah, so it's just like safe sex practices and what to do when somebody doesn't sort of like respect your idea of consent. So let's just start. Okay, first up, we have the title page, blah blah blah. This Consent Matters module will help you to understand what sexual consent is and how to identify when consent has been given, the situations and circumstances in which consent can't be given, what contributes to a respectful relationship, and how to assist in and assist when you are concerned that someone is not able to provide consent. Okay, this is gonna take an hour, but to you it's gonna take like 5 minutes. So first, like thinking about consent, I like to think about consent too, and how I can instead of cannot consent. Helping yourself to someone's food without asking. How important do you think consent is in this situation? I'm gonna be like, not really an issue. Touching someone's pregnant tummy without asking? No, you do not. Very important, you can't touch it. You can't touch it if that person doesn't give you consent to touch it. Please don't touch other people's tummy when they're pregnant, or even when they're not pregnant. You just have to ask if you want to touch someone else's tummy, Just ask. Use someone's phone without asking. That's quite important. One really shouldn't, because of privacy matters, all that. Okay, so apparently 1 in 5 Australians have been victims of revenge porn, and 1 in 5 students were sexually harassed in a university setting, such as in university teaching spaces, on university grounds, or in university social spaces in 2016. Quite a big number. Yeah, that's quite a big number. So when you hear the phrase sexual consent, I think that A, it means saying yes to sex. B, it's important but it sounds really formal. C, consent is complicated. And D, I've never really thought about it before. I'm gonna go with like A, because non-consent is saying no, so consent is saying yes to sex. And yes, it is. Consent means saying yes to sex. Both you and whoever you are having sex with have to agree for it to be consensual. I mean, duh. Okay, so knowing each other's likes and dislikes is important too, and being sure the other person hasn't said yes because they feel coerced or pressured. Yeah, that's really important, because when you're in the moment and someone else doesn't feel right, you won't really know about it unless you're like really in tune with that person's body language and sort of like facial expressions and stuff. Some people may hide how they want to say no because they want to make you happy, but they don't really say it because they know it might upset you. So remember to ask people if they are enjoying it, or like it feels like it's not right, because that person might not want to do it but then might not want to tell you either. So remember to check in with your partner before you continue at every stage of the intimacy process. I'm not speaking from experience, no, just a lot of thinking about it. So I know what the age of consent in Australia is. It's either 16, 17 or 18 depending on where you are and what you want to do. So yes, that's correct. Age of consent is 16 in all states except South Australia and Tasmania, where it is 17. Remember to check online or wherever what kind of age the age of consent is in your state, because it may vary from country to country and from state to state, so be careful with that. So the best way to seek sexual consent from another person is to ask them directly if they want to have sex. A. B. Suggest it physically using the right body language. They'll know what you mean. Not really. Ask them by using a combination of words and body language. We can't reliably be understood if we only use gestures. That's sort of like maybe, yeah. And D. I don't know, which is I know this, sort of, I guess. It's either A or C. Always be very direct if you want to ask for that, you know. I think that's answer A. Yeah, okay. Being direct has a lot going for it, and it's the absolute gold standard of consent-seeking behavior. So you gotta ask, and if the person says no, please don't ask again, or ask multiple times, or like advance. They're not saying no because they want you to catch up to them, or like bug them about it. They're saying no because they mean no. You know if someone consents because they tell you directly and say, yes, I want this but not this, and so on. If they don't, then it's not consent. B. Tell you in their own way but definitely using words or sounds. C. Tell you using their body but responding to you physically. D. Do something but I don't know what it is. I'm going to go with A. Like, they have to like verbally consent. Okay, that's wrong. It's B. It's tell you in their own way but definitely using words or sounds. So not everyone feels comfortable being this direct, assertive, or explicit. We all have different boundaries and levels of comfort when talking about sex. It's consent if it's an enthusiastic yes, and if it's not that, if it's anything less than that, it's you have to check in, and you have to like make sure they still actually want it. So that was literally like the first 5-10 pages, and I still have another 90% of the module to complete. So, but that's kind of like a snapshot of what it's sort of like. If you are practicing sex, make sure to be very safe and make sure to read up on it. It's not simply just going with the flow. It's important to familiarize yourself with the process if you are thinking of having premarital sex or just sex in general. Personally, I would never do it. Like, it's because of my religion. I don't believe in premarital sex. But if you do, and if you want to have it, please be careful. Always be careful, and remember to learn about consent. It's not saying no to what you don't like. It's saying yes to what you like. So please remember to take precautions before you're doing the do, and you will be pretty much fine. So yeah, that's it for this week. Please subscribe if you like this episode of In My Dorm Room, and I hope to see you next week with another interesting video. Night, everyone!